Nokia and Xiaomi have already announced their notch display smartphone in the budget segment, but they are yet to arrive in India. What has arrived in India is the Oppo A3S. The phone comes with a notch display, has a price tag of 11,000 rupees and has a 13 megapixel camera at the back. You're watching India Today Tech. I'm Rahul Sethi, and in this video, I'm going to unbox the Oppo A3S and show you its design, build quality, software, display and the camera. Let's begin. So this is the box the A3S comes in. It's written bigger battery and dual camera, but I don't think it's a bigger battery because it's around 4000 mAh, but the screen on the phone is around 6.2, so the phone is going to need a bigger battery anyways. Let's take the phone out of the box. So this is the box. First up, there must be a cover. So it's a clear case. You can bend it around. It's not a hard case. And there is a user manual with the quick guide. Next, there is the phone itself, and I must say it's not very big. Obviously smaller than regular 6.2 inch phones because it has a notch that allows you to have more screen area. So while the phone boots up, let's take a look at the box contents. You get a big charger with 1 amperes of output rating. Then there's a long USB cable. It's of course a micro USB cable, and you don't get any earphones in the box. Now let's quickly take a look at the detailed specs and we'll come back to the phone. The Oppo A3S comes with a 6.2 inch display with HD plus resolution. It is an IPS LCD panel. The phone packs Snapdragon 450 chip with 2 GB of RAM and 16 GB of storage. At the back, the phone has a 13 and 2 megapixel dual camera setup, and at the front it has an 8 megapixel shooter. The phone runs Color OS on top of Android Oreo, has a 4230 mAh battery and runs dual SIM 4G LTE. So this is the Oppo A3S, guys. So you see a notch at the top, very similar to the iPhone 10 because it has rounded edges. Anyways, at the back you get a dual camera, and it's a glass-like finish. It's not actually glass, it could be plastic. And the phone's frame itself is made out of plastic but looks sturdy. Let's try to bend it. So it's quite sturdy. The construction is full unibody and there is curved and rounded edges and corners which gives a good grip. And it's quite surprising to see a phone this small packing a 6.2 inch display. Let's pull out the SIM tray and take a look at the slots. The SIM tray can take 2 SIM cards and a micro SD card as well, which is great, but it's made out of plastic, which is not great because it's not very sturdy. Let's go around the phone and take a look at the ports. You get a micro USB port at the bottom with a single speaker and a microphone. There's also a headphone jack, so there's no secondary microphone for noise cancellation. At the back side, you'll see a dual camera with a single LED flash. Important thing to note is that the phone does not have a fingerprint scanner. On the right you have the lock button, and on the left you have the volume rocker. Okay, so I've set up the Oppo A3S, and there are 2 things that I notice right away. First is that the phone attracts a lot of fingerprints, and the second is that there are a lot of third-party apps on the interface. You'll see that the phone comes pre-installed with all these apps, including third-party and some from Oppo itself. Let's take a look at the Color OS version the phone runs. It's the version 5.1, but the good part is the Android version is latest, it's 8.1. Next, the touchscreen is also quite average, it's not very great. I would say it's very similar to the Redmi Note phones, but a notch below and not above. The display on Oppo A3S is quite a mixed bag. You'll see that the resolution is low and the display is big, so it kind of looks underpowered. While watching movies, I found even at 720p that the display lacks clarity and detail, though it does have good brightness levels, and for a 720p display it's quite nice. But then again, if you'll be watching movies on a regular basis, this may not be the perfect display to go for. Also, I noticed this while using YouTube, is that while you are holding the smartphone in the left hand towards the notch, you'll see that your palm may accidentally touch the end of your screen while holding it. Now coming back to the software, you'll see that the Oppo's Color OS is quite cluttered. That is something we have already told you, but what I've seen is it's also quite slow. It does look nice. The colors and the contrast on the drop down menu looks nice. Multitasking is easy on the phone. When you are in the app, you just need to long press the recent apps menu and you'll see a bunch of apps below the first app which you can click and open in the second window. But you'll see that the app have their exit animation, and during multitasking the phone appears to be quite laggy. Also, you'll see it does take a second while switching from landscape to portrait mode. Now let's take a look at some features in the settings menu. In the display brightness controls, you'll see you can set the tone on the display. Next, since the phone does not have a fingerprint scanner, you get face recognition, but of course it's not as secure because there are no IR sensors to accurately collect facial data. Now let's quickly take a look at the camera on the phone, and before that let's check the autofocus speed. So we are testing it under good light conditions and we see that the autofocus is quite nice. Also, you'll see that there are a lot of modes in the app and the interface looks very much like that of the iPhone. Switching to the front camera, the options remain the same. You'll see there is the panorama, photo and video option. There's also a time-lapse option on the front camera which is quite unique. Then there's HDR as well for the front camera, which is again a unique thing about the phone. Let's switch to the full screen mode on the phone and click a selfie. I already see my face being brightened by the camera. There must be a beauty mode on in the phone. Okay, so the beauty mode is on by default, and let's take a look at the picture quality. The details I don't think are according to an 8 megapixel sensor, but then again we are seeing it on a big display, so I do see a hint of noise and a not so good dynamic range, but it looks slightly better than 5 megapixel sensors we get on Xiaomi phones. If you want a detailed comparison, let us know in the comment section below. Anyways, here are some shots taken from both the front and the rear camera of the phone. So in good light conditions, you'll see the phone does capture good amount of details. It is not as good as what you would expect of a 13 megapixel sensor, but it's quite nice for a phone at this price. Since the phone software inherently has lags, we did encounter slowness in the picture clicking part, but yes, the photos in good light conditions have turned out to be good. In low light conditions, the phone has a lot of noise, and that is something we were expecting of Oppo A3S. Same is the case with the selfies taken from the phone, though even in good light, selfies do have some noise. So this was our first look of the Oppo A3S. So far, the notch only looks to be the great advantage of the phone. It misses out on a fingerprint scanner, but gives you only face recognition in return. Next, the cameras are also quite average, but we'll have to compare it with other phones in this price segment to come to a concrete conclusion. For now, the software remains to be the hinge point. We have seen that it's quite slow already. It has lots of animations while opening and closing the apps, but do watch out for a full review where we'll tell you if the phone lags even more while you are using it with all the data inside and all the apps set up. If you would like to know anything about the Oppo A3S, let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel to get latest videos delivered directly to your inbox. Thank you for watching.